to another episode of Let's Make Work Happen. I'm Jennifer Connell, Vice President of Advisory Services, and I'm here today. Ashley Hunter, Global Mobility Leader of Young Brands.
Hello.
Hi,
So
Ashley.
excited to be here.
I'm so glad you're here today. Now, first, before we start, looks a little bit different today. We're not on two screens. You might see the background behind us. We're actually filming together today from Worldwide ERC's conference in Salt Lake City. How are you doing today?
Doing great. I'm so excited to be here. It's my first time at the conference. So excited to finally meet you in person and just talk about all things global mobility and Young Brands. So happy to be here.
Great. So, Ashley, let's start with your story because I want to hear a little bit about you. How did you get into global mobility?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a kind of windy road, as I like to say sometimes. So I've been at Young Brands for about 10 years now. I started actually in the accounting department and then made a transition to HR about 7 years ago. So I was in a couple of different roles at KFC US, HR analyst, total rewards leader, and then jumped over to our KFC global business where I was the total rewards business partner. That's kind of where I got a little bit of a peek under the tent when it comes to global mobility. We move a ton of people for KFC Global. And so I got to meet my predecessor and got really close with her about, how we do offers and everything that goes into it. So when she moved on to a different role, the mobility leader role opened up and here I am. It was a little over 2 years ago.
Wow, that's great. I mean, I always love to hear about global mobility stories, how people get to the business because it's always a winding road and the skill sets that you bring into it from an accounting experience. But you've had worked roles in both total rewards and as a business partner, correct?
Yeah.
So how have those experiences shaped your approach to mobility today?
Yeah, I like to say that I'm good at my job. So I don't think I would be as good at my job if I hadn't had the roles that I had previously. I think really knowing how you kind of construct a total rewards package, not only from like a base salary perspective, but also the benefits that you put into that package. Also how global mobility plays into the bigger talent landscape, right? Like global mobility is a talent enabler. So it helps us get the right talent to the right places to make sure we can deliver really good things with this stuff. And so having kind of that HR business partner hat to say like, okay, what kind of skill set does this person have? Does it fit into a different business unit somewhere else in the world? How does that play out not only from getting the people where they need to be to deliver the right talent, but to also make sure that they're delivering the right results to get those really great business results at the end of the day. So it's just wearing those different hats has really given me the opportunity to see things from a lot of different lenses and really more of the full picture of that talent cycle and just, get the business where it needs to go at the end of the day.
That's really great. I mean, that's a great segue into talking a little bit about Young Brands because so much of Young Brands is about its culture.
It is.
How you take care of your people. And I hear that a lot in speaking with you. Can you tell us a little bit more about Young Brands? How would you describe your company's culture, your employees? What's it like to work there?
Working at Young has been awesome. I've been here for 10 years. So there's a reason I've stuck around for this long. So anything that we do always has our employees at top of mind. I think the other really cool thing is now that I'm leading global mobility, I think it's even cooler to kind of say out loud, like I am in, I think, my 7th role.
Wow.
In being at Young for 10 years. So the opportunity to do a lot of different things. Again, use the experience you've had from here. Maybe you aren't, an expert into the role you're going into, but the experience that you have had leading up to that and the fact that you have the opportunity to jump around and do different things. Like, when I got an accounting degree, I never thought I'd land in HR. When I landed in HR, I never thought I'd be in global mobility. So it's very unexpected, but I think having the opportunity to jump around and do a lot of different things is really what makes Young such a great place to work.
Yeah. And definitely agility.
Agility,
yes. Right?
Yeah.
So we're here today to talk mostly about group moves.
Yeah.
You have quite a story to tell us.
We do.
Because talk about jumping into different roles, right?
Yeah.
You're going to tell us about a specific group move that Young Brands went through. Let's start at the beginning. What was the initial scope of the group move?
Yeah.
And maybe on how it started to evolve over time.
Yeah. So initially, the goal was basically to move the KFC US business from its headquarters in Louisville, Kentucky, down to our corporate headquarters in Plano, in Texas. And so the initial scope was all of the in-office roles of Louisville were reported to Dallas. And so we had one starting location and we had one ending location. So kind of had, one set of benefits that made sure it was taken care of, whether you were a renter or, based on our current policies that we were. And really making sure that we were taking care of the employees because maybe this was a massive a massive adjustment for everyone involved. And so it started with one business unit from one location to one location. Then we shifted a little bit.
Because nothing starts up. Nothing goes simple.
Nothing is simple. At the end of the project, we ended up moving all of our remote workers for all of our U.S. domestic business units to a home headquarters. So we had people moving to Louisville. We had people moving to Plano. We had people moving to Irvine, California. And it wasn't just from Louisville to Plano anymore. Like people were starting from all over the United States. We also had a couple cross-border mixed people coming from UK, from Canada, over to the US as well. So we expanded the scope a lot. So it really evolved in a very, very short period of time.
So there must have been a number of challenges if you're going from one location to 3 locations and changing the complete direction of the move.
Yes.
What were some of the biggest challenges?
I think some of the biggest challenges were, okay, we have all these great resources. We know what we're doing when we're moving somebody to Plano, but what does that mean when we're moving somebody to Louisville? What does it mean when we're moving somebody to Irvine? Or we had main focus of, how do we get people to Plano? How do we make that a really great experience? How do we also have these new locations? Make sure that people are getting that same benefit level. They're getting the in-person, they're feeling good about them. And how do we make sure that people are taken care of? Even though our scope is drastically changing and we don't have as many people going to these direct locations.
And how would you say that your policy supported the group move through the process?
Yeah, I think our policies, I feel like, personally, I feel like our policies are really rich to start with, but we added on a couple of extra layers. So not only did we have, the normal freaky trip, like to go down and look for housing, we did a know before you go trip where we had our realtors, we had our DSPs, we had all of our people who were going to help you settle in Plano, actually in Plano. We had a couple of dedicated sessions. So people could actually get in front of those DSPs to say, how are you going to settle? What is life like here in Plano? Yeah. To make sure that we were really, really taking care of our employees. You're going to hear me say that literally in everything that I talk about when it comes to mobility. Like our main focus is to make sure that our employees are taken care of.
I love that tagline. Know before you go.
Know before you go.
So there's a lot of emphasis, it sounds like, on the destination, but in the departure location.
Yes, in the departure location. So we not only had, actual know before you go sessions in Plano, we had them in Louisville as well. So we kind of touched it at both ends. So in Louisville, we almost did like a conference style sort of, like we almost had like a mini conference where we had, our destination service providers. We had realtors. Any benefit that we had a session on it to say, this is what the benefit means. This is who you're going to talk to, and this is what you could get out of it. We did it in person. We also recorded all of the sessions because we had some people who were remote who were not actually in Louisville. And just to make sure that everybody got all of their questions answered. I love that we had literally all of our experts in the same room together. So it was nice to be able to kind of like pull everybody together. We got to be super collaborative on, when someone says they do want to move, like, how do we want to handle this? So it made it
what a great way to build excitement. For moving. Yeah. Because oftentimes people are reluctant to move, and part of a group move is enticing them to take this move, which might have been unexpected part of their career. But getting them together and building that sense of community even before they go on, that speaks a lot to your culture as well. So what role did settling in services and family services play in making them successful?
Yeah, I think we always say the trailing spouse makes or breaks the move. So we wanted to make sure that the families really felt like they were taken care of. So not only did we make sure that the employees got to attend these sessions, we made sure that their spouses and their family members, they got to watch a recording, they got to join online if they weren't able to in person. But really, really focusing in on those destination services was crucial, whether it was housing or settling in services or family services. The family services, the big one. So Impact Group, they were a godsend during this group move. Not only like finding little league teams. We always talk about like you're in a pickleball league. Pickleball is really big in Louisville.
Huge.
It's huge, and it's everywhere. So like making sure like you have a pickleball league and you want to make sure that you know who to talk to about the leagues, the little league, any of that kind of stuff. Like that was a really big thing we felt really, really strongly about. Two, we also have people who were caring for aging parents. We have people who have, children who have special needs. So to make sure that they were getting into the right programs, they knew what was available once they got there and felt that they really were going to be able to transition their lives from one place to another. That I think was a thing I'm most proud about, that we really leaned in heavy there to make sure that people.
I agree. I mean, it's something we hear about all the time from clients is how important the family services are. It's only becoming more important. I love how inclusive this whole entire event was.
Yeah.
Even giving the option for people to attend remotely or having their spouse attend remotely while they're there in person. I wouldn't even normally think of being able to do the logistics around that. Massive kudos to you for being able to do that. And as a mom of 3 boys,
yes.
Little League, very important.
Yeah.
You got to hook them up with the Little League in that new location.
Exactly.
So what lessons did you learn from managing such a complex and dynamic location?
Yeah. As a very type A person, I had to kind of put that in my back pocket. You're always going to come up with challenges, right? There's always, well, what about this? If we tried our hardest to think about every possible question that could come up. We talked to, random people. We would talk to our families, like when we went home at the end of the day to say, like, okay, in the big scope of things, if this was happening to you, what would you do? Obviously there was a very small group of us who knew about it, at the beginning, just to make sure we had all the logistics right. But like, there are always going to be questions that come up that you don't have the answer to. It's how you approach answering those questions. Like, be super vulnerable and transparent and say, I don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to find out. I know exactly who to go to, and I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that you have the answer you need. You feel comfortable with it. And at the end of the day, we deliver what we promise. And
That's like great career advice.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. You don't have to know everything.
So that was going to lead into my next question. What advice would you give to other mobility professionals preparing for a large scale?
Prepare as much as you can. Feel comfy with what you've done. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, if you would feel good about, like, if this was happening to you and you feel like you have taken care of absolutely everything that you can take care of, you're obviously not going to make them happy. And it's okay. But if you have done everything and you feel deep down in your gut and in your soul, you have done everything that you can for your friends and your other people, like within the company who are being asked to relocate, like that's all you can ask.
That's great. Well, you made me very happy.
Oh, good.
Thank you. Good. I'm glad to make a lot of your employees very happy when they move. So, Ashley, our last question we ask at the end of every episode: how do you make work happen?
Oh, well, on a daily basis, collaboration is like key for me. It's a big thing. If we're gonna go with a serious answer, like being super collaborative and being super, super vulnerable and transparent with the people you work with your assignees. Again, like I said before, like whether you know the answer to the question or not, be transparent and be human, because they are also human and you make connections. And that is what, makes it move around. On a personal side, energy drink. So I drink with Lonnie. I wear a lot of concealer and a really good throwback 2006 lighting. How we get to bed. So
gotta have a good playlist.
Gotta have a good playlist.
And nice shout out to Connell.
Yes, shout out. If you need a sponsor, here I am.
Send the energy drinks. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, and I hope you have a great conference.
Thank you so much.
Newcomers. So if you need any tips, we're here for you.
Absolutely.
All right, great. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.